Thank you very much, everyone. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. Thank you very much, everyone. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much. Again, this is one of the beautiful moments to be together, discussing teaching of the Buddha. Buddha and the practices with the joy and the devotion, with the determination, and with the all beautiful environment. It's really one of the very beautiful. I thank for you all opportunities and to be part of this and be together. Thank you. So thank you again, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Again, welcome, everyone. Thank you. Then we're going to, during this week, we're going to go to the teachings of the very famous master, many of you all know, known as the Khedrub Karma Chagme. Khedrub Karma Chagme is the Karma Chagme is his name, but Khedrub is like his title. What means scholar in the Siddha. Truly, he was a great scholar and a great accomplished master, Mahasiddhas. And yet, according to the life story, what I heard from my parents in the village used to call, he was so humble, down to the earth. He was not kind of like staying in the big fancy place, the big entourage and the big things and all that. Stay in a hermitage, in a cave. And he's so humble, so simple. And practicing all the time. In a way, almost entire his life been practicing. So his teaching, what he realized, what he got realization, he shared to us, his teaching, then we follow it, that his teaching, in his teachings are known as the condensed hard instructions of the union of the Mahamudra and the Dzogchen for the practitioners. There is a series of the teachings on Epit instructions, which is the union of the Mahamudra and the Dzogchen teachings. So this is the one of that teachings, those teachings. So we're going to go through these teachings during this week as much as we can. Okay. And so now I go a little bit again, generally talk about a little bit about the practices that we all come here to practice and meditate and activate our beautiful inner nature and really glorify that. That's really the purpose of the all we come together here. And our also glory is not just a glory to the outside, but the inner glories. Inner glory is, what is that inner glory? It's glories of the loving kindness, compassion, wisdom. That is really what it is. And that is the essence or the embodiment of that is known as the bodhicitta, or the realization. That is what is the whole practice. So therefore, we go to let me discuss these teachings again, as you all know these things, what I'm going to talk, but I'm going to go over again that in a way, a reminder to you, to all of us, not just to you, for me, and we all really activated this little bit. So this is again, generally gracious teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni give variety of teachings. All those teachings are designed to benefit, to help, to our, or revert our nature, to benefit in this life and benefit to the others with the context of kindness, compassion, loving kindness, respect and appreciation. All that teachings, all teachings. And that teaching is practiced and meditated and activated the realization through the three different ways. Those are known as starting, contemplating, and meditation practices. And so many great practitioners reach the highest realization, same as the Buddha himself, one after another. And in India, in Tibet. And then Buddhism came in Tibet. In the 8th century, full-bloom Buddhism came. And not just only academic or the books and all that, but realization also really born. So many people individually got the realization in Tibet in the 8th century. And by the gracious teacher, by Guru Padmasambhava, and great master Shantarakshita, and great master Mahamudra, and as well as so many others too, came and they so practiced and meditated. There's so many great masters came one after another, great practitioners that continually there. Now, when we practice it, what is the essence of the practice in the teaching says? This is what again I'm going to list it. Those are the foundations of the practices. And whether we do the retreat, whether we do individually practices or during the retreat or anytime we practice it, this is really the teachings so important. I mean, we all have this. It's not something that we don't have. So what are those? Those are, if I listed that, first is 18 endowments. 18 endowments. Oh, yeah, 18 endowments. Second is devotion or the faith. And the third is what's called joyful effort. And fourth is wisdoms. And the fifth is qualified teacher. And then sixth is the practices. Practice without obstacles, hindrance. Those are the six. There is a sixth group. They are like bedrocks of the practices. And if you reflect that to each of those, we all have that. We have the 18 endowments. We have the devotions or the faith. We have the joyful effort. We have the wisdoms. We have the qualified masters. We met so many great masters, one after another. And then we receive the teachings. And also we don't have much obstacles in practicing. So that we have that. So therefore, I mean, we all have the perfect conditions, cause and condition to the practices. Now the first thing of these 18 endowments, I'm not going to list that, you all know that. So I'm not going to list that. But first it is at freedoms. Definitely we all have that at freedoms. 10 luxuries among the 18 freedoms. 10 luxuries, that makes 18. 10 luxuries are related with the externally 5, and one's own self related with one's own self individually is 5. 10. And 10, if you look this, even though we have the we practice and meditating, we have the 10, but these 10 luxuries is fluctuating, particularly few of those. So that means, even though we have the 18 endowments, but when we are out of the practice, we miss the practice, we can't involve in different things, then 18 endowment is not. We don't have the 18 endowment. We have at freedom, definitely, those are at freedom, but 10 luxuries are like fluctuating. And what are actually those 10s? Many of you know, you all know actually this. Again, 5 are related with the others. Others, those are known as Buddha came in this world. Those are listed, and then I will go over a little bit. Maybe you already know that, but I will go over that. Buddha came this world. Taught, the second is taught the teachings. And the teachings still exist. And there is practitioners. There is fifth, there is teachers, practitioners, teachers. So those are the 5. 5 that related with the others or external others. 5 luxuries related with one's own self. Those are known as merchal. Means first we born as human beings. And the second is our organs or the senses are perfectly intact senses. And the third, we are placed where the teachings are available. Third. And the fifth is our professional activity interest is not something that negative or negative and beneficial. Our interest, our professional hobby, those all quite lined up with our way of our beliefs. And the fifth, and the fifth is interesting in the devotions to the Dharma. So those are known as 5 related luxuries of us. And what I'm saying is that few of those 10 luxuries fluctuates. Even there is, of course, Buddha came in this world. That means indicating sometimes there is no Buddha came. Buddha is not came, did not give the teachings. And but there is no teaching available, even you are always interested there. And that is not happened. Buddha came 2,500 years ago or 600 years ago. And sometimes Buddha came, but the teaching disappeared. There is no teaching available. That not happened. The teaching is still available. Second. Third, and third is, there is like practitioners. When they are Sangha members. And and the fifth is, the Buddha gave the still teaching is existent. So sorry, I think I mixed up. Buddha came, Buddha gave the teaching, and the teaching still remain, and there are practitioners, fourth, and then there is that is practitioners, and there is teacher available. Those are the fifth. So even there is Buddha came and all that, but if there is no practitioners, or no practitioners and not practicing, then again is like that. Really, according to teaching, is fluctuating. And then now we can think of ourselves, one's own self with that. And we born as beautiful human beings. That is for sure. That is perfect. And the second is, and our senses are all good. And then we born or we are placed where the teaching is valuable. That is also correct. Then and there is also a lot of practitioners. That is also true. And then now, the fifth one, if we are not interested on the devotions, then we are not really practicing. And then so it is missing. The fifth one, last one is missing. Even though the practitioners, since we are not interested, if we are not kind of participate in practice with Sangha members or not practicing, then even the second, the fourth one is also not really, not any luxuries, no more luxuries. So everything is kind of demolishing or decreasing, going down and down. So that is not, for us, for where we are practicing, we are not in that state. Therefore, we have all that 18 endowments perfectly and beautiful now, for where we are practicing. So that is the number one related with number one of the practice of Dharma. So 18 endowments. And the next one is devotions, what in the teaching said now. Devotion is so important. Now even we have the important, as I listed that the 10 luxuries among that, the fifth luxuries were related with ourself, one's own self is the devotions. So that if we don't have that devotion, then there is no progress, no activities of the practice at all, or no interest. Generally, there are 3 devotions. Those are known as the beginning devotion, known as the interested devotions. Second is more desiring devotions. Third is known as then the very confidence, trusted devotions. So those are the 3 devotions. And the fourth one, according to the great master Jingmi Longpa, said unshakable devotions. That is really the course, best. And it's unshakable. No matter whatever the situation happen, you're really going to keep continually your perseverance, your joy in the devotion is so strong and beautiful. Beautiful. So the devotion is so important. For that reason, Buddha said many times in teachings, all Buddhas and all the other great masters mentioned, without the devotion, there is nothing is can be activated. Those people who don't have in the sutra known as Avatamsaka Sutra said, if there is no devotions, those people who don't have the devotions, they don't have the enlightenment, they don't have the progress of the realizations. Never comes. So without the devotions, nothing happens. Everything is started with the devotions. So therefore, first important is the 18 endowment. Second, the most important is the devotion and faith. Faith is so important. And the third is so important, even you have the devotions, if you don't have the joyful effort, then it really won't go that far. Even our devotion is strong. We have 18 endowments, but if we don't have our joyful effort is weak, then it won't go far. And what won't go far? It won't go far any of our spiritual practices or Dharma practices. In the teaching, what great, again, in the Panjaparama, the teaching said that if we don't have the joyful effort, our all the 6 paramatas will become the shaky. So that means generosity is not going to go well. Paramata is not going to go well. And morality is not going to go well. And patience is not going to go well. Joyful effort, then of course we talk about joyful effort, is not, then is lost. And concentration also will be shaky. And wisdom will be shaky. So therefore, devotion is vital. Joyful effort is vital once we have the devotion, once we have the 18 endowments. Without that, it really won't go far. So for that reason, always in the teaching say, joyful effort is so important. Joyful effort is the opposite of the laziness. Laziness and distractions. So therefore, it is so important. For that reason, it's called joy for effort. Joy for effort is combined with joy and courage and commitment to it. It really combined together. And the perseverance, it's so strong and beautiful. So foundation, so that therefore that once we have the joy for effort, for example, now we have the 18 endowments, we have the good devotions and faith, and we have this joy for effort. Third important is according to the teaching. Then, or the fourth important is then wisdom. Wisdom is now again so important. If we don't have the kind of wisdom that clearly, kind of keeping that clearly exactly on the track, then our practice, even with our devotion, will be shaky. Wisdom is like eye that sees everything. In a gracious teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni said in the teaching, even you don't have the wisdom, all paramatas are blind. They are blind. Then it really won't go far. Even though good things, it won't exactly kind of become effective and successful. It is just like kind of become blind. You see. In what the gracious teacher said in the teaching known as Panjaparamata teaching known as Seta and Gata. And they said, if there is many people who are blind, even they don't want even they want to go to the road, they can't go on the road. Even there are so many people join together, it's not going to help. help and won't go on the road and won't find the directions. Similarly, if there is no wisdoms applied, all the other paramatas are like become blind. It won't go exactly and perfectly and beautiful. And who will take that perfectly beautiful? The wisdom. Wisdom will guide all the 5 paramatas to the right directions. Then all become the transcendental practices. Generosity become transcendental, morality become the transcendental, everyone become the like transcendental practice. So therefore, wisdom is so important. What is wisdom? Wisdom is clearly understanding exactly where things are and following that instructions. Following the instructions. That means gracious teacher Buddha Shakyamuni taught clearly and lay out perfectly, beautifully as it is. And all the great practitioners and masters kept that exactly as that way, and they become enlightened or great masters. As they shared to that us and keep that instructions in the heart and the mind. Mind, all the simple way, simple that instructions. So that is known as wisdom. Wisdom that means clearly knowing exactly as it is. That. And then wisdom can be divided into 3. Also, all of us knows. Wisdom that, or sometimes teaching mentioned, wisdom that knows related truth exactly as it is. Wisdom that knows absolute truth exactly as is. And we divided that, let them furthermore, and then 3 wisdom. Wisdom that comes from the studying, wisdom that comes from the contemplations, wisdom that comes from meditations. Meditation is what actually every kind of like highlight of the wisdom of the studying, wisdom of contemplation. What is that? That is, we highlighted that or kind of like more precisely, that is wisdom of the related truths. These both are wisdom of the related truths. Wisdom of the meditation and practice, and we highlight that is mainly wisdom of absolute truths. Absolute truth is beyond the intellectuals, beyond the investigation, analytic ways. How you can recognize is by our own awareness, self-awareness, pristine cognition, recognize that profound nature of the absolute truth as it is. Absolute truth is also nothing mystery or kind of something so special that absolute truth and the relative truth are completely connected. There is no difference between relative truth and absolute truth. Because for why we don't recognize that or we don't immediately realize that? Because due to the according to the teaching is our duality, grasping mind. Just always looking one direction and with the clinging, with the grasping. So that means what is the grasping, clinging? According to the teaching, grasping, clinging is not natural. It is completely artificial. Completely, what is the teaching said? Obscurations. Completely diluted. By who? By ourselves. Nobody else diluted that. We ourselves. We clinging, we grasping. We make restrictions. Restrictions. We make the labels. There is nothing in the label. All these nominations, labels, all these ideas not coming from outside. Say, this is my label, this is my name, this and this way should this. Everyone is nominated by our duality mind. And we follow them. Reality, none of those existence in that. But when we label, that is according to the teaching is okay too. But we grasping, we cling. Then we kind of like clashing. All what we label, what we are holding, back and forth. Then it becomes each time more and more that clashing and more hindrance, more challenge, more difficulties. So therefore, this is what's called duality creations. So therefore, that reason, the absolute level is generally, it's just everywhere. It's nothing really unusual. It's like space. Space is everywhere. It's nothing unusual. But the same thing is every relative truth is united, joined with the absolute truth, because absolute truth related to air, and the relative and absolute truth are joined together, and where they appear is known as interdependent coordination. They are all connected. That's what the great master Nagarjuna said. F is interdependent coordination, that is absolute truth. F is absolute truth, that is then interdependent coordination. This absolute truth is so flexible, pervasive, or absolute truth. Another word we can use, emptiness. Whatever emptiness is interdependent coordination. Whatever is interdependent coordination is emptiness. They are identical. They are inseparable. But yet we don't recognize that emptiness aspect or the absolute truth aspect. We will discover that only by meditating, and then we will fully discover the Buddha sees all the time, or great master sees all the time. That means the duality is removed. When duality removed, then absolute truth, the relative truth are spontaneously same thing, same places. And for that reason, Buddha gave all those sophisticated teachings. What is it? In the modern time, maybe we call, or not maybe, it is called, can be called as like quantum physics teachings. Buddha gave that 2,600 years ago. All that. We see clearly. It's not something that machine or some kind of microscope investigated, analyzed, and then found out. It's through his wisdom. See. And Guru Padmasambhava said the same thing. All those great masters say the same thing. As they meditate, they see, they conform. And therefore, it is everything is in that transcendental enlightened state. So that is generally wisdom. Once we, so now for example, we talk that also we have we have the beautiful 18 endowments. Second, we have the beautiful devotion of the faith. Third, we have the joyful effort. Fourth, we have the wisdoms. Now what we need, according to the teaching, the practitioners, then qualified teachers. Qualified teacher, again, that is, even though we have all those first 3 or 4, 18 endowments, or the precious human body, or precious human lives, devotions, joyful effort, and wisdoms, what then? That next is what we need, is according to the teaching, the qualified teachers. Qualified teacher, what we do? That will help to activate all your beautiful qualities, what that you have. It will activate our 18 endowments. It will activate our devotions. It will activate our joyful effort. It will activate our wisdoms, so that we can properly use and discover bring the benefit. And for that reason, gracious teacher Buddha said, also in Panchaparamita teaching, said, "Oh noble children, you should contact the qualified teacher until you become the enlightenment. Until you reach the enlightenment, you should have the qualified teacher. So it's not just once in a while we need, but until we become the qualified teacher. And for that reason, we look back to in history of all those great masters, they contact the qualified teacher. And the qualified teacher, of course, there's many explanations in both, or not just both, in the Vinaya teaching, the Mahayana teaching, in the Vajrayana teaching, and many times say that. But what the great master Shantideva said in his teaching, to simplify that, The qualified teacher, one who is, or who are maybe, who is or who are always residing, always expert of the knowledge of the teachings, or who knows the, maybe I'm not the qualified teacher who knows the teaching quite well, and or knows well, and then that qualified teacher is presiding always with the teaching, as teaching explained. So that means that qualified teacher is presiding his or her body activity as as teaching, speech activity as like teaching, and mind as the teaching says. So that means we're residing the body, speech, mind within the teaching, and then the heart is filled with bodhicitta, and to benefit for all the beings. Bodhicitta, that individually is like qualified teacher. That's what really the simplify that. So that means who knows the teaching, and then so that means can speak or can teach or can tell about the practices, Dharma, but at the same time not just only talking, but also practitioners, practicing that. So therefore, that individual's body, speech, minds are completely based upon the teaching, gentle, peaceful, exactly as teaching. That so remaining that, conduct all that. Then above that, the bodhicitta, the compassion, loving kindness is filled that individual's heart. That is really the qualified teacher, the teaching said. So that is the way we take that as teacher. Then plus, besides that, there's many qualified teacher explaining in the Buddha teaching many things, but that is really the essence. I like that, simplify that. And then once you have the qualified teacher, then the next is what? Important is contract to that qualified teacher. Properly and nicely with all the tools of the yoga. Devotion, joy for effort, and wisdom, three of that. With that three. Devotion, joy for effort, and wisdom, and contract to the qualified teacher. And receive the teachings, learn the teaching. And that when you receive the teaching, we're going to preserve that teaching with the devotions. We're going to preserve that teaching with the joyful effort. We're going to preserve that teaching with the wisdoms. When you preserve that teaching with the devotion, joyful effort, wisdom, what is helping to, what is doing to us? Our body become gentle and peaceful. Our verbal speech become gentle and peaceful. Our mind is become more gentle and peaceful, with full of common sense, full of practicals. And that means what? When we become gentle and peaceful, why is becoming? That means our negative emotions are softening. Our negative emotions. What are those negative emotions? That arrogance is little softening. And self-important attitude is little softening. And then greedy is little bit softening. And together with that, grasping of attachment, anger, jealous thoughts, all these softenings. That is softening become more gentle, more softly. When that happens, what is coming out? Then our hidden qualities, our beautiful richness quality, the Buddha nature began to shine from our heart. More calm, that means more loving, more compassion, more gentle, more peaceful. That is the external appearance. But internally, your realization of the understanding of this is really expanding, deepening. Then you yourself also feel calm and peaceful. And also more beneficial, benefiting to the others. Helping to then what in the gracious teaching, Buddha Shakyamuni said in the teaching, fulfilling the dual purposes. Helping to the others, helping to fulfilling one's own wishes. In the context of the joy and appreciation, respects, with full of common sense, with the humble, simple, down to the earth. Earth, not kind of like hovering, clashing, this and that things. Those are the old habits of the ego cleans. That all happen. So really observing that. Then when that happens, what is so important? When you are really happy, now that should be really smooth ride. Smooth what they call sailings. Smooth sails. So no more obstacles. Trying to avoid the obstacles. Obstacles comes part of the practices. Generally there is nothing. But handle the obstacles nicely and beautifully. When we go through the lives, when we in the lives, there is always obstacle comes. Even you read the life story of gracious our teacher Buddha Shakyamuni. In his teaching, explained even he had many obstacles. During his time, when he is fully enlightened, when he is giving the teaching to all the Sangha members, monks, nuns, lay practitioners, at that time, also some obstacles. He's so humble. Buddha was so humble, so simple, sitting on the same place where all the Sangha members stay, carrying his own begging bowls, walking with bare feet, with the gurus, Sangha gurus. Yet, he has some trouble, obstacles. Obstacles, even you read, this is the part of the samsara. Why these obstacles are coming? Because the samsara has so many, is full of like negative emotions. So many negative emotions, everywhere. In a way, we are surrounded with so many negative emotions. That don't mention our negative emotions. There's so many others. Then it bursts, clashing. Then it becomes the obstacle, hindrance. But the gracious teacher Buddha Shakyamuni, all those individuals, how they handled that. Just handled that. So it pacified, it didn't affect that. And many times in the practitioners, when they have the difficult obstacles, it's part of the life. You purify, you're cleaning. That makes hardy, that makes stronger. That what the great teacher Buddha gave the teachings on the among the six paramata. Patient practices. That is, and we are what the gracious teacher Shanti Deva says. We will have no patience. When we don't have the patience, there is always trouble. There is always trouble everywhere. It's coming every direction. When it's so sensitive, when it's so kind of like timid, what the great master Shanti Deva said, that is timidity. Then you can't handle anything. Just become more and more obstacles coming. And we become that. But when you have the courage and confidence and strong, and we have the courage, commitment and wisdom, those obstacles are really dissolving so nice and beautiful, not just dissolving or going away, because of those obstacles, we're making so stronger, hardy, and the fulfilling, then advancing our paramatas and our practices. So therefore, that is what is. But however, those obstacles, hindrances could come. As obstacles could come externally, as I said, there is so many, with filled, surrounded body with so many negative emotion beings, and there is always, and then there is also so many obstacles could come from the not like all the beings, but also such as the element could come there. So that there is obstacles. What the great master, the great wisdom Dakini Mutig said in his teachings, Thomi give you, those are invisible obstacles. Invisible obstacle or the untangible obstacles. There's so many things will come. But more the big obstacles, most of the time arise from our mind. The inner obstacle. Those are what we call here, modern time, psychological troubles, psychological, emotional problems, psychological problems, and all the anxieties, all those really obstacles can come. It come from innerly. It's not coming from many things out. Maybe it has small percentage to do that as condition, but the cause is the inner. All that by the practices. Then a good practitioner, those all handled. Even those great practitioners who sitting practicing in the cave, they also experience those obstacles too. But they handle it so beautifully as it's arising. All the different tools, different instructions they receive, handled those so well, they didn't do anything, prevented their practice and realization, and then they become the great masters. So that's the how really this goes. So therefore, this smooth, like once we have the first, we have the, for example, beautiful human lives, then we have the devotions, we have the joyful effort, we have the wisdoms, then we have the qualified masters, and they receive all the instructions, the empowerment, the teachings, all that. Then we put that practice, make that activated. But preserve that one. Then as you have the devotion, preserve that with the joyful effort, preserve that with the wisdom, then bring the realization. And then can benefit to ourselves, to all the beings. Even the obstacles, different things come, but it is all go away. Is a part of the process, a part of the purification, part of the removing our all those bad habit patterns. So that is the what foundation of the practices or the bedrocks. As I say, the 6 bedrocks of the practices in according to the teachings. Then it will perform that. And now I go a little bit over the teachings or life story of the greatest master Khedrub Karma Chagme.